Welcome to episode 71 of Midweek News for April 10th, 2024. Let's get started. The Mint developers will ship Thunderbird as a native Debian package in Mint 22. This decision comes as a direct result of Ubuntu switching Thunderbird from a deb to a snap package in Ubuntu 24.04. One of the things that sets Mint apart is that it does not ship with snaps. Mint 22 is expected to be released in June or July of 2024. Thunderbird makes progress on Exchange compatibility. The team celebrated in March the completion of initial Exchange auto-discovery and OAuth compatibility in account setup. There is still improvement to be made before general availability, but this is an exciting development if you work in an Exchange environment and don't want to use the web app on Linux. Linux firmware update utility will use Zstd Compression in future releases. In light of the XC exploit, the developers of the FWUPD utility will switch to the Zstd Compression utility for future releases. The devs are considering the enforcement of signed commits in an attempt to prevent a supply chain issue similar to XC. FWUPD metadata compressed with Zstd is about 3% smaller than those compressed with XC. PCIe first official draft lands. The PCIe 7.0 spec is on track for release in 2025. The blueprint calls for 128 gigatransfers per lane of raw throughput. The higher performance will enable 512 gigabytes per second of bidirectional bandwidth from a by16 slot. This doubles the 256 gigabytes per second that PCI Express 6.0 devices will be capable of when they hit the market later this year. More details are in the article, along with a link to the draft specification if you want to get really technical. The LXC Project Announces 6.0 LTS Release, supported until 2029. What's new in this fresh LTS version? Multi-call binaries, set timeout function, IPv6 support, UID/GID selection, and many more. Whether you're going to use LXC directly or wait for the new version to be integrated into Proxmox, it's nice to see its continued evolution. Schleswig-Holstein, the northmost state in Germany, is starting the switch by using LibreOffice and planning to move 30,000 PCs to Linux for local government functions. Concerns over data security are a primary concern. The state's email servers, directory, and telephony software are also planned to move to open source solutions. Two other German states have previously attempted a switch, but the earliest of those started nearly 20 years ago. It will be interesting to watch this unfold. Ffmpeg 7.0 released. Some highlights of this version: Dolby Vision Profile 10 in AV1, D3D12 VA hardware accelerated, H.264, HEVC, VP9, AV1, MPEG 2, and VC1 decoding, optimizations for ARM processors, and many other improvements listed in the article. It will be interesting to see how quickly this new version is adopted. Almost 25% of consumers consider cybersecurity when choosing a bank. This is a somewhat encouraging statistic, but one I hope among my audience will be much higher. Canonical announces Netplan 1.0 with simultaneous WPA2 and WPA3 support. It has taken 7 years to get to the 1.0 version. This new release contains many new features compared to the releases included in previous versions of Ubuntu. Netplan 1.0 will be available by default in Ubuntu 24.04 series due out on April 25th. Netplan will also be available in the upcoming Debian 13 Trixie series due in July. Kodi 21 Omega is now available with major changes. Ffmpeg 6.0, NFS version 4, and other changes make this an exciting release. What feature are you most excited about in Kodi 21? More than 92,000 D-Link NAS devices have a backdoor account. A security researcher has disclosed a new arbitrary command injection and hard-coded backdoor flaw in multiple obsolete D-Link NAS device models. The flaws are tracked as CVE 2024-3273. A backdoor facilitated through hard-coded account, username message bus with an empty password, and a command injection problem via the system parameter. When chained together, any attacker can remotely execute commands on the device. Since the devices are end of life, D-Link does not have plans to release a patch for these issues. It is recommended by D-Link that these devices be retired. If you are still running one of these D-Link NAS devices, maybe it's time to consider switching to Synology or QNAP or the upcoming Ugreen devices. And that, my friends, will wrap up episode 71 of Midweek News. I'll see you next time.